I have returned today to actually cover the climatic episode of part 1 of part 6. Weird to say out loud, to be honest. I will still not ever get used to the fact that it's released in parts of part 6. So it's part 1 of part 6, part 2 of part 6, part 3 of part 6, I guess. So it gets confusing after a while. So yes, today we actually cover episode 12 of JoJo part 6 Stone Ocean, as episode 11 ended the entire Savage Garden pseudo arc, I guess, because it, theoretically speaking, isn't ended just yet. It still carries on for a little while longer, but the actual named chapters are finished of it. And yeah, I mean, it was good. I like the science behind everything. I've just always been a fan of the scientific side of JoJo. It's kind of very interesting to me because it's like Araki just took a science course one day and went, you know what? I could apply it to my fucking anime or manga at that point in time. And yeah, it works, I must say. I like the idea that a lot of it does revolve around the idea that they have to know what's going on from a scientific point of view, otherwise they're fucking dead. Like, I don't know why. I find it very fascinating, and they start spewing a lot of shit about science. You're like, I mean, half of it could just be ended if you just punched the dude in the face really hard, but alas. So yeah, I mean, it was interesting. I quite liked it, and also ended on the whole entire meeting of Jolene and Poochie as well. Actually, it's quite interesting considering, does that happen so often in JoJo? The actual protagonist actually meeting the antagonist, technically speaking, of the entire series this quickly. Because I mean, unless you count part one, literally they're met instantly, so it wasn't too different. It wasn't too too far difference. But yeah, I mean, it's just kind of cool in a way. So anyway, it's actually actually gone live. It also marks the most amount of anime I've covered in the space of like no time, practically. I'm about to actually literally pass out. I commend anyone who watches more than one episode of anime per day, because I'm not built like that anymore. I used to be able to. I actually watch a whole entire series in one day. So it's 4 hours long. I can do that. Now I'm like, by one episode, like on the verge of passing out. So got to get myself comfy. Anywho, let's actually start this thing in 3, 2, 1. Let's start this thing absolutely now. So, also, Japanese might be slightly good, but not that great to actually understand about subtitles. Could you be a man of the Lord? Hello, how's it going? How are you doing today? I should also say as well. I love Jolene just kind of like, I could just beat him. So yeah, pretty much. It was going to take me a long time to actually get used to the change in voice actor, but I've actually kind of got used to it quite quickly. It kind of fits the father aspect quite well, like the idea of being a person of the Lord. It's got that heavenly delivery in his voice. So you got 59 seconds to go. It's like, shit! Fucking runs for it. Quite literally. Well, she ain't going to heaven now, is she? She's fucked. bruh. Now you see, you'd be like, hey, Poochie's a pretty cool dude, but at the same time, he didn't whack a woman's face into a fucking table like 2 episodes ago, so. So you kind of like, yeah, I don't trust the lad. He do be swag though. He do be swag. I appreciate that the representative of the Spearwagon Foundation just comes in like a fucking superhero does. Well, no, actually. She's just kind of sitting there like, what the fuck? Yes, because Poochie was on 5 head move the entire time. Of course he was. Let's be real though. 3 gunshot wounds. To a Joestar? Fucking nothing. Oh, it's SFX version as well. So they've changed the opening then. Must be. Are they going to change the opening? That would make sense considering that this is technically part 1's entire like stand users. So they do actually do part 2, they might change the opening. Which means we might get an opening with our favorite girl. The JoJo superfan herself. I didn't expect them to change the opening. Well, not change the opening, but actually add in sound effects this early, considering... Wait a minute, no, episode 12 of Thea had it, didn't it? Of Dummies Unbreakable. Yeah, it did have it as well. It sounds really fucking good, though. It's even more Kino, I do agree. Oh. I was not expecting that, holy shit. That's so cool. So that means we might just get a change in opening. Which means they actually are going all out for this anime then. If that's the case. Though, I do remember episode 12 of part 4 had SFX. Episode 10 also have like the disco version of the opening as well, if I remember correctly. The really weird opening that was like the disco version. Oh shit! It's the boy! It's our special vampire. So I guess we might actually get something very important this time around as well. It's been so long. Yes, the Brando actually is a massive driving force for this whole entire narrative once again. I like that. Dio can't die is impossible. Okay, he's quite hot in this part though, I must admit. Honestly, he is very hot in this part. Holy shit. Look at me lusting for a fucking vampire. Yo. It is kind of weird seeing Jojo from part 3 drawn in part 6's style. That's quite interesting. I don't know why, it feels very interesting to see it. Well, if anything, all his lungs are full of water as well, so that's kind of very, very bad. Does not hold a gun like that? It reminds me of Rick Grimes from Walking Dead. The reports, I've had enough of this shit already. We've been in the show for like 1 episode. Of course, everyone's like working on 5 head moves this whole entire time, though. You're like, oh shit, it's the representative, possibly, maybe. Looking pretty cool and heroic and all. Shoots her instead. Like, fucking hell. Didn't Guido needs to survive like 7 shots? Like, and just kind of called it afterwards. It's good use of like juxtaposition between a person who works for the Lord and the idea of him being like technically the root of evil as well. It's kind of interesting considering, don't get me wrong, I've seen it a few times done in like media. Oh, it's the frogs! It's the fucking frogs! Frogs are important. Frogs are very important. Isn't the idea of frogs raining down from the sky like an omen or something? Was it? Yeah, it was in the Bible, wasn't it? Or was that... Is it the frogs or was it something else in the Bible? Picture must be like, what the fuck? Why is there raining frogs outside? Well, there you go. It's happened. To my knowledge, I swear there was a case. There was like a storyline. Was it with the person who cuts the idea that the person cuts the child in half to give one half to the parent, one half to the other parent as well, or something. And because of what happens, it causes the raining frogs to happen, or something. Was it raining locusts? I can't remember. It's one of the two. I thought it makes sense because Man and the Lord, but biblical referencing makes sense. Yeah. So nice to actually see him just say it. I would be kind of terrified seeing frogs rain from the sky, to be honest. Thank God England all we see is fucking rain the entire time. Sometimes snow. Jane's like, fucking hell. God, I hate being a Joe star. Not just once, multiple times. Like, sir, please, there's fucking raining frogs. Please open the goddamn gate. Oh yeah, Poochie counts prime numbers to calm down. Did tell you the boy was swag. Did tell you. I was like, hey, boy's pretty swaggy. And he was. $800 pants. It's the one shot they always wait for every single part. Prime numbers the ones that could be divided by one in itself, if I remember correctly. Bro didn't get 69 either. Fucking hell, he would have been saved. This is a good part to end on, to be honest, considering it actually does, in theory, like reset, theoretically speaking, the narrative to like one, because everything was trying to be done to this whole entire point has been upended as well. It's a good part to end on, considering that now is a new kind of beginning, I guess. Sir, there is fucking raining frogs out here, alright? Yeah, what are they doing? What are they doing in the event of a frog rain? To be honest, what's the protocol? Ah, you did it! I will say probably hello, how's it going? What I will say probably is a little bit more horrific in the actual manga. I don't know, Araki's artwork in the manga is a lot more like ew the entire time whenever he does something quite disgusting. He knows how to get underneath your skin quite easily with his art. Because I do remember a lot of the time in part 6 I was like squirming because of how disgusting it was, because it literally is body horror central. Not discredit the actual anime. Anime's doing an amazing job as well, but I kind of feel like Araki's artwork is like one of those distinctive artworks that does make it seem more horrific. Though it is interesting to see Poochie being antagonist, considering, again, I kind of feel like every single part like deals with something different when it comes to like, the human condition as well. Like part 4 had the idea of like a completely ordinary person being a serial killer in a way. Part 5 had a person in power be the antagonist. Part 6 has the person of faith be an antagonist. I kind of find it to be really, really fascinating, considering that it's done beforehand. Don't get me wrong, I've seen priests be antagonists in storylines. I've seen it. I swear Da Vinci Code does it. But I feel like even more so here, it's a lot more interesting. But yeah, this is an amazing episode to actually end on, I must admit. They've done an amazing job here. Of course she was. The frogs were a distraction. Elaborate, but it works. So it must be like, really? That's the way to do it? Holy shit. Ah, see? Well, that's obvious representative of the Speedwagon Foundation, a fucking dove. I love that. I love his like, you know what? I'm a stand user and everything. I actually am a stand as well. You know what I'm gonna use? A gun. It is interesting how he uses CG though. Wait until she finds out. Wait until she finds out. I do also like that Dio's actually the main focal point. It kind of brings it all full circle in a way as well. The idea that Dio has always been a kind of like an omnipresent force, even after his death. To actually then be like the driving force as well for part 6. It once again does go to the idea that part 6 really is a continuation of part 3 storyline. FF must have been like, Hermes, did you actually hear about the idea that there's actually raining frogs everywhere? It's like, what? Appreciate the shot. Almost evoking the idea he's fucking dead. Fuck you, Demo Productions. Oh man, I won't forgive you for fucking for killing Alpha Bacchio and Anancha and everyone else. All right. I didn't get skip credits this time around. Interesting enough. Yeah, that was good. That was an amazing end to the actual overall part so far. Don't get me wrong, it's not the ending. We still got, I imagine, at least 29 more episodes to go. If I'm gonna be honest, I think it's around about that length. I think it'll be about 39. I think it's a good length for part 6. But yeah, I mean, that was an amazing way to kind of conclude it, considering it does, theoretically speaking, reset the narrative a little bit to essentially 0, because though they've actually got the Style Platinum disc, it's not entirely fixed, and the idea that now there is this idea that she might not be able to like enact what she wants to do because she's going to be put in solitary confinement, I imagine, because of her escaping and everything like that. It does reset the entire narrative, and also we have the idea that she's wounded, plus the idea that Weather Report's also wounded as well. everything else like that, it kind of resets the entire narrative to zero. And that actually is kind of cool, because now we actually have a lot more to go on. We have a lot more stakes at hand. And also there's this idea that what Johnny can actually do is very limited as well. That's the other thing to note. She's kind of stuck there, isn't she? Can stop hiccuping constantly. Oh, please give it to me. Give me the stand username. No, give me the stand name. I mean, sorry. I forgot that the arc of all arcs happens immediately afterwards. Appreciate he's gone from we didn't get the name. Fucking hell. I appreciate he went from being just a friend to being dear friend. Oh, give it time, boys. Give it time, and it'll be upgraded even more so. But yeah, anyway, I gotta admit, it is really fucking good. Part 6, like, there's no doubt in my mind, it literally is an amazing part so far. And their productions really has done, like, a job I thought no one ever could in theory do, and improve upon the entirety of Part 6. Because Part 6 is already perfect in my opinion. I love it to bits. I adore it. It's my favorite part besides Part 7. And I always thought, like, the manga's perfect, how could they ever improve it? And they've done it. I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong, people might like raise an eyebrows to CG, but at the same time it looks like it's only very primitive use of it in the idea of movement, which isn't the worst thing ever. I don't actually kind of care too much about that, so that's okay. And everything else just is amazing. The idea of how they brought Jolene, Erdmes, FF, Poochie, Emporio, every report, and everyone else like that to life is absolutely incredible. I must admit, there's no way in my mind that these aren't the definitive versions of these characters. They're actually so amazing. Every single voice actress and voice actor does an amazing job every single role they're given. And it's just one of those things that I can't stress enough. Like, the production behind the show is incredible. I mean, there might in theory be now that we might see Part 7 quite a lot sooner than part 6 and 5. That's actually quite cool as well. I'm looking forward to what's going on with Dio as well, to be honest. I also kind of like that Dio is the main focal point of it all as well. As I said beforehand, it brings it all full circle completely, because the idea is that now this is a definitive continuation of Part 3. Don't get me wrong, Part 4 had Jotaro in it, so you could in theory interpret that Part 4 as a continuation of Part 3, because Jotaro is actually in it. He's a supporting cast member of Part 4. But at the same time, I kind of feel like Part 3 continues it on to the point that Part 6 continues on to the point that it really feels like the continuation. This feels like the actual sequel. You get what I mean? It's like if, say, Blade Runner, well, it actually did. Like Blade Runner had like about 3 like intermediate projects in the middle of it, and then 2049 came out and kind of was the true sequel to the entire thing. Kind of feels exactly the same here, that this is a Blade Runner 2049 of the whole entire narrative. This is the continuation that we've been waiting for this entire time, because it brings back Dio completely, because don't get me wrong, Part 4 had the idea that Dio was still present, but still there's this idea that maybe it was more of a limited role. But this one, it's like a completely, like, oh, well, also Part 5 had Dio's son in it completely, so that's also a continuation of Part 3, but still. This one feels, what I'm trying to say is, this one feels like the most continued version of Part 3. So I like that. I also like the idea that we also get the entire motivation for Poochie's character as well. The other thing to note, like, his whole entire character's been laid out for us, and now it's only a matter of time before what could actually happen with his actual plan, and actually what's going to happen with Dio, and the idea of like heaven itself. And also, kind of, so during the actual stream itself, I like the idea of actually how they look at humanity itself, how in each part, each villain means something. I like how Part 6 looks at the idea of religion, because religion is an important factor. I like how a person of faith is, in this context, an antagonist. Actually, how that does, in theory, kind of give us a very different outlook on the entire thing. Because again, you didn't expect the person to be kind of the root of evil in this part, to be a person who's of faith or of God. So that's kind of cool in its own way, because it kind of opens up a lot more about this whole entire part as well. And actually how Araki's exploring a lot more topics you don't see very often in shonen or anything else, because I don't remember truly any series at the top of my brain that might in theory have like religion, like, well, a religious person at the forefront of the antagonistic trait, essentially, besides Part 6 being the most notable one. That's why I can't come out of it mostly as well. But yeah, everything else absolutely perfect. Jolene's amazing. I love her to bits. I adore her. Owen Mez, amazing as well. FF, incredible. Weather Report, my husband, he's incredible as well. So I can't really wait to see what else this show does in 30D, because you ain't ready for it, because part 6 is just so fucking cool, and it's going to be an absolute thrill ride from start to finish, this whole entire part. So I can't wait for it to come back. I hope it comes back sooner rather than later. I know January is the start of the January begins the broadcast of part 6. So I imagine that after that point we'll hear something about the continuation of Netflix, or whether or not the actual broadcast continues on from where Netflix left off. So episode 13 might be the start of the broadcast. That's yet to be seen, but I'd kind of imagine that might be a possibility as well. That'd be a bit weird, but at the same time they might just run reruns before that point, so that makes sense as well. So anyway, I'll see you everyone once it comes back, and actually what happens then we'll see. Can't wait, because my favorite character actually appears as well, and plus we might get the stand username, but stand name of all stand names as well. If they actually keep it in, I'll be so goddamn happy. I literally will cry. I've been waiting for it to. I've been waiting to see it actually come to fruition in anime forming for so goddamn long, so it'd be cool to see it actually happen. So yes, with all that said, I have indeed been the driver. So as always, actually have enjoyed this whole entire experience of me covering JoJo quite consistently, actually. And then as always, do leave a like, it does help quite a bit. Actually have then enjoyed this entire stream as a whole, as always, and do leave a sub as well. It does help quite a bit also. Actually have then enjoyed this whole entire stream as a whole, and as always, do leave a follow on Twitter as well. It does help quite a bit also. Actually, then know when these streams are live, and any other streams I may do as well. So until next time with episode 13, whether it may return of JoJo Part 6 Stone Ocean, I'll see you guys then. Thank you so much for actually joining me on this adventure. It's been absolutely fun to bits to actually see this actually being animated as well. It feels like a dream come true to see Part 6 animated, to be honest, because again, as I said beforehand, this part means the world to me. So to see it and actually allow everyone else to see it as well, it's just so goddamn cool. So until next time, as I always say, I've been the Driver, and I'll see you guys later. Bye for now.